There's a reason why the gaming backlog is such a popular topic. It's because with it comes fear, comes anxiety, and it makes it hard to appreciate the game you're playing at any given time when you start thinking about what you could be doing, or what's just behind you, or what's in front of you. It's loaded with everything, really. And when it comes to my own backlog, I have really special games that I know are going to be a great time that I haven't played and I don't know when I'm going to get to them. For instance, Cyberpunk 2077, Hades, Dark Souls 3. 3 games that I look at and they look at me every single time I choose to play a game that isn't them. Every time I decide to play a random game like Dredge, for instance, Bug Snacks, SteamWorld Dig 2, I can feel these games just over my shoulder asking me one question, one word: why? It's so easy for us to be thinking about what we should be playing, what we should be doing at any given moment. Even if you go beyond games, this is applicable. If you start thinking about when you decided to go hang out with someone, and you're thinking about what you could have been doing with the rest of your night instead of spending time with that person, or if you do the opposite, you decide to bail or to not go to an event, you spend so much of your time thinking about what I could be doing, fear of missing out. Now that's not on every occasion, of course, but this applies to so many situations, and it's very rarely more applicable than in these cases where we're playing a game, we choose to play it, and at that start menu, when you're hitting start, for me, the second I do it, I start thinking about another game that I could have played. It's really a crazy, vicious cycle, and it's something that I've tried to catch before it arises in my brain, but literally the second I boot it up, the second I choose to download it, or even buy it sometimes, that's when it hits me. And that's why I have so many unopened games on my shelf and in my digital library, because I buy them, and then I get distracted with something else, and then they have entered the backlog even though I just bought them in that moment. Our gaming backlogs are just over our shoulder, but they're also right in front of us. They're chasing us constantly, but we're also chasing them. That all vanishes with one thought though, one simple statement: you don't have to play everything. I reached a point recently where I started thinking, and I kind of caught myself in these moments as I'm playing through a game right now, Far Cry 6. A game that I'm finding is a completely average experience, and that has left me knowing that there are probably better experiences I could be having right now. So I'm going through that questioning of, should I keep playing and so forth, as what happens when you're playing a game like this, where it's not really impressing you, but it's just doing enough. And I've really found myself having this experience again that I've had so many times. And then I started thinking, how horrible would it be if games never ended? And then I started thinking, how horrible would it be if I played every game? And I started thinking about how much I would be enjoying Far Cry 6 right now if I had played every other game besides it. And it was the last game I hadn't played, and it suddenly brought a new light to the game. Now, this doesn't apply to every game. Some games don't deserve that mindset, really, that mind shift, because they are just bad and there are actual good games to play. But in terms of the actual thought experiment, I'd have nothing left to play if I'd played every game. Everything is temporary, and every game we play is special for that exact reason. If every game lasted forever, we'd never be able to enjoy the beginning, because the beginning would never end. It makes games more enjoyable, and it allows us to stop focusing on the next game, because we can finally accept that we won't play everything. Just even try it. Try thinking to yourself, if you're overwhelmed and you're looking at your library even right now and all the options, or you're looking at the marketplace or the e-store, whatever you're looking at, trying to decide to buy a game, there's something wildly liberating about telling yourself, I am never going to play all of these. It's kind of weird. It kind of creates a weird internal panic where you kind of realize, okay, this is crazy. I feel pressure now to suddenly pick the right one. And that's fair too. That's a fair response to that. But when we accept this truly, we can enjoy what we're playing in the moment, and we can enjoy what we choose to buy. There's no wrong decisions, because you'll never know if you didn't make the right one. You can tell yourself hypothetically you were going to enjoy the other game better, but you don't know that. You couldn't know that because maybe you'll never have time to play that game you should have bought. And maybe it would have been worse, and what kind of situation would you be in now if you told yourself you should have bought the other one, you bought them both, and you ended up enjoying the one that you only bought to enjoy yourself more? You ended up enjoying that less. Whatever you do, whatever we do, even if you're busy as can be, and you only get to play 30 minutes a day, that's enough. That's the thing, and that's a treat in itself. That time is a treat. It's so easy for our human brains to think about the time we don't have instead of the time we do. But if we start thinking about the time we do have in that 30 minutes and you put your headset on and you lock it in and you just have that moment where you're truly in that game, I think that's why people don't always enjoy experiences, because they're not really in them. They're outside looking in. Even if they're experiencing it, they're not really living it. Now, I know it's funny to say this about artificial experiences where we are and our brains are being tricked into thinking we're doing something that we're really not. That's the fascinating part about video games. But we've all been there too. We've all been there when we truly feel like we are that character, we are in that world. Even if it's third person, you can still get in that mode. I made a video about this a few videos ago. It is a special experience, and we can all get there. I truly believe it. Even if it's not the best game, if your mindset's open, then you can get in there. You can enter that state of not thinking about anything else. You can enter that state of artificial presence. One thing that's easy to overlook as well is just being grateful. It's kind of a basic statement, but even in terms of, let's say your controller's working, you don't have stick drift. Let's say your headset's still working, you don't need to replace the batteries on whatever it is. Your TV screen's working just fine and creating a beautiful image. You're glad you got gifted that game, or you're glad you got it on sale. You're grateful for every little thing, and it's something that I really struggle to remember, but it helps bring me into the moment as well and helps me remember I'm not going to play everything, but I'm glad I'm playing this. You know, just a simple little thing, but just thinking these types of things really help bring everything full circle. And again, like I mentioned in a previous video, one thing too, when you start thinking about the things you should be playing, what you have to play, how you're feeling overwhelmed, don't forget a couple of things. Don't forget, at the end of the day, these are just games. And again, the fact that you get to play any of them is amazing. It's a special thing. They are a luxury at the end of the day, and it's great that we all get to do this as a hobby. The other thing to remember, where you are, who you are, in terms of creating yourself into the world, bringing yourself in, like you are a game character. I talked about this in a previous video. Bring yourself first person. See the controller in your hand, see that you're looking at a TV screen, and remember where you are and what you're experiencing, and it'll just bring you back to the moment. Watch yourself watching the game. Kind of weird, kind of trippy, but it works, I swear. I just find with us humans all the time, the thing that we do, we tend to think about what we don't have. We tend to think about the things we could have done. And the crazy part about that is that when we do that, that thought is robbing us of the choice we made to do instead of those things, or is robbing us of the enjoyment of the things that we actually do have. And so you're actually getting neither experience. You're not getting happiness from either thing. You're certainly not getting it from the thing you chose to not do or the things you don't have. But since you're thinking about those things, you're also not getting it from the things you do have and the experiences you are having. I find that so fascinating, and it's no more applicable than it is to all of that than it is to games. Where we aren't truly going to experience the game we're playing if we're thinking about the game that's coming out in a week, and whether we can afford it. Or we're thinking about the game we should have bought, like I said. So, the human brain is crazy. At the end of the day, again, the real lesson here is we don't need to play everything. And we won't. That's the thing. When you tell yourself, I don't need to play everything, remind yourself too, you can't, and you never will. And again, it's easy to go to Panicville, but you don't need to either. In fact, it's liberating in a way, because remember how bad and sad it would be if you did play everything. Then what? And again, if games never existed too, how sad would that, if they never ended, how sad would that be? You'd never truly appreciate them, because the beginning is the end, and the end is the beginning. And there's no story to be told when there isn't a side to each. What do you guys think? Does it take away from your gaming experience too? Have you experienced this feeling when you start up a new game, when you buy a game, and how do you deal with it if you do? Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.